The cocky college athlete flexes his muscles and laughs at the quiet man sitting alone. "Come on, old man, I bet you've never done a real push-up in your pathetic life." 53-year-old Master Sergeant Thomas Kane looks up from his coffee as the 22-year-old bodybuilder continues his taunts in front of his fraternity brothers, none of them knowing they're mocking a Delta Force operator who spent 15 years conducting classified missions behind enemy lines. The young man's smirk fades when Thomas stands up and reveals the green beret tattoo on his weathered forearm. What happens when this Special Forces veteran accepts the challenge will teach everyone in that gym about true strength and earned respect. If stories of quiet heroes revealing their power inspire you, smash that subscribe button and tell us in the comments about someone who surprised you with hidden skills. This showdown will leave you speechless. Thomas had been coming to Elite Fitness every Tuesday and Thursday for 6 months, following his doctor's orders for physical therapy after rotator cuff surgery. He preferred the quiet corner where he could work through his rehabilitation exercises without drawing attention or making conversation with other gym members. His routine was simple and focused on recovery rather than competition or display. The college crowd dominated the gym during evening hours. Young athletes from the nearby university who treated the facility like their personal playground. They were loud, aggressive, and often dismissive of older members who didn't match their energy or enthusiasm for heavy lifting and bodybuilding competitions. Jake Morrison, a 22-year-old business major and fraternity president, had been watching Thomas with growing amusement for weeks. Jake stood 6'3" with perfectly sculpted muscles from 4 years of dedicated bodybuilding, and he couldn't understand why someone who looked so ordinary was taking up space in a serious fitness facility. Tonight, Jake decided to provide entertainment for his fraternity brothers by confronting the quiet older man who never seemed to challenge himself with meaningful workouts. Jake approaches Thomas's corner with his usual swagger, confident that he's about to humiliate someone who clearly doesn't belong in their elite training environment. Jake's fraternity brothers gather around to watch the show, phones ready to record what they expect will be a hilarious encounter with an out-of-shape middle-aged man who probably never played sports or pushed his body beyond comfortable limits. They're looking forward to posting the video on social media with mocking captions about gym imposters. Jake starts by commenting loudly that some people come to gyms just to waste space and pretend they're serious about fitness. He suggests that Thomas should probably stick to walking around the neighborhood instead of occupying equipment that real athletes could use more effectively for genuine training purposes. Thomas continues his rehabilitation exercises, trying to ignore the growing crowd and Jake's increasingly aggressive commentary. He focuses on the physical therapy movements his doctor prescribed, knowing that proper healing requires consistency and patience rather than ego-driven displays of strength or endurance. Jake escalates by challenging Thomas to demonstrate basic fitness skills like push-ups, pull-ups, or weightlifting. He claims that anyone who belongs in a real gym should be able to perform fundamental exercises that prove their commitment to physical excellence and athletic achievement. The fraternity brothers encourage Jake's behavior, laughing at Thomas's apparent weakness and obvious discomfort with the confrontation. They make jokes about senior citizen fitness programs and suggest that Thomas should find activities more appropriate for his age and apparent fitness level. Jake grows bolder and directly insults Thomas's appearance, calling him weak, soft, and pathetic. He tells Thomas that real men don't waste time on gentle rehabilitation exercises when they could be building serious strength and muscle mass through challenging workouts that separate athletes from pretenders. Thomas finally looks up from his exercises and asks Jake to leave him alone so he can finish his workout in peace. His voice is quiet and calm, but Jake interprets this restraint as fear and weakness, rather than the self-control of someone who has nothing to prove to strangers. Jake sees Thomas's polite request as an opportunity to push harder. He challenges Thomas to a fitness competition right there in the gym, claiming that anyone who refuses must be admitting their obvious inferiority and lack of physical capability. The fraternity brothers cheer their president's aggressive tactics. Thomas stands up slowly, and Jake notices the faded tattoos on his forearms for the first time. One shows a green beret with wings, another displays the distinctive Delta Force insignia that most civilians wouldn't recognize. Jake's confident expression wavers slightly as he realizes these might be military symbols rather than decorative artwork. The gym has grown quiet as other members stop their workouts to watch the confrontation. Several older patrons recognize the military tattoos and understand their significance, but the college students remain oblivious to what those symbols represent in terms of training, sacrifice, and genuine toughness. Thomas asks Jake what kind of fitness challenge he has in mind, his tone remaining calm and measured despite the public humiliation Jake has been attempting. Jake, now committed to his performance in front of his fraternity brothers, suggests a push-up competition to settle the question of who belongs in this gym. Jake drops to the floor and performs 50 perfect push-ups in rapid succession, his fraternity brothers counting loudly and cheering his impressive display of upper body strength. He jumps to his feet and flexes his muscles while challenging Thomas to match or exceed his performance if he wants to maintain any credibility. Thomas removes his sweatshirt, revealing more military tattoos and the lean, functional muscle tone of someone who has spent decades maintaining combat readiness rather than building show muscles. His physique tells a different story than Jake's gym-sculpted body, showing scars and practical strength rather than aesthetic perfection. Without fanfare or warm-up, Thomas drops into push-up position and begins a steady, controlled pace that immediately demonstrates superior form and technique. His movements are precise and efficient, lacking the flashy speed of Jake's performance, but showing the disciplined perfection of military training. At 50 push-ups, Thomas hasn't broken his rhythm or shown any signs of fatigue. The fraternity brothers stop counting as their president's record falls behind, and other gym members gather to watch what is becoming an impressive display of endurance and mental toughness. Thomas reaches 100 push-ups without slowing his pace or compromising his breathing remains controlled, his movements stay precise, and his expression shows the focused concentration of someone who has pushed his body far beyond civilian limits during years of Special Forces training. Jake stares in disbelief as Thomas continues past 120 push-ups, then 150, showing no signs of stopping or struggling with the exercise he claimed the older man couldn't perform. The fraternity brothers have fallen silent, their phones now recording something very different than the humiliation they expected. At 200 push-ups, Thomas finally stops and stands up, his breathing slightly elevated but his composure completely intact. He looks at Jake and quietly explains that he spent 15 years in Army Special Forces, including multiple deployments with Delta Force, conducting classified operations in hostile environments. The gym falls completely silent as Thomas describes the physical standards required for Special Forces selection and training. He explains that candidates must complete grueling exercises that make civilian fitness challenges look like elementary school activities, and that maintaining those standards becomes a lifelong commitment. Jake's fraternity brothers stare at Thomas with newfound respect and understanding, realizing they've been watching a genuine elite warrior rather than an out-of-shape middle-aged man. Several approach to apologize for their earlier mockery and to thank Thomas for his military service and sacrifice. Thomas tells Jake that true strength comes from discipline, sacrifice, and the willingness to endure hardship for purposes greater than personal glory. He explains that Special Forces operators learn to push their bodies and minds beyond what most people think possible, not for competition but for mission success and team survival. Jake approaches Thomas with genuine humility and asks about military service and special forces training. Thomas explains that he's recovering from his 5th shoulder surgery, the result of injuries accumulated during combat operations and training accidents over his military career. His rehabilitation exercises represent more toughness than most people display in their entire lives. Thomas describes some of his deployments and missions, helping Jake understand that real warriors often look ordinary in civilian settings because they don't need to prove their capabilities to strangers or seek validation through public displays of strength. Their confidence comes from tested experience rather than gym achievements. The conversation draws other gym members who want to hear about Special Forces service and training. Thomas reluctantly shares stories about his military experience, emphasizing the teamwork, dedication, and sacrifice required for elite unit operations. He helps everyone understand the difference between fitness and true physical readiness. Jake asks Thomas about his training routine and whether he would consider providing guidance for serious fitness goals. Thomas explains that his current focus is rehabilitation and maintaining functional strength rather than competitive bodybuilding, but he offers to share knowledge about military-style conditioning and mental toughness. Over the following weeks, Jake becomes Thomas's most dedicated student, learning about discipline, consistency, and training with purpose rather than ego. Thomas teaches him that true fitness serves function rather than appearance, and that mental toughness often matters more than physical strength. Alone. The fraternity brothers spread word about their encounter with the Delta Force veteran, and Thomas becomes a respected figure at the gym. He continues his quiet rehabilitation routine, but now other members understand they're witnessing genuine toughness rather than weakness or lack of commitment. Jake changes his approach to fitness and leadership, focusing on helping others rather than dominating them. He credits Thomas with teaching him that real strength supports rather than intimidates, and that true warriors lift others up instead of tearing them down through cruel competition. 6 months later, Jake enlists in the Army with aspirations of earning his own Green Beret. Thomas provides mentorship and guidance for his preparation, helping the young man understand that Special Forces service requires character development as much as physical conditioning. Their relationship proves that respect earned through truth is stronger than fear imposed through intimidation. What happens when this Special Forces veteran accepts the challenge will teach everyone in that gym about true strength and earned respect. If stories of quiet heroes revealing their power inspire you, smash that subscribe button and tell us in the comments about someone who surprised you with hidden skills. This showdown will leave you speechless.